Alright, so I want to hit y'all with a quick little bonus video covering Dragon Ball Super Manga Chapter 31, which again, as of this video, I do not have the entire manga chapter, but once I get my hands on it, you can expect a review on the channel. And I wanted to show you guys that Toyotaro took a very interesting twist, a very interesting turn in the Dragon Ball Super manga by showing us, for the first time in Super, a very young, very young Uub. Now, there's some confusion amongst fans still about this. Dragon Ball Super, as of the Tournament of Power arc, takes place roughly about 3 or so years before the end of Z. The end of Z is, of course, when Goku actually meets Uub at the tournament, and they fight, and then, you know, it ends with him flying off with Uub and whatnot. But if you remember from the Dragon Ball Super anime, there was a scene where Goku and Dende were talking, which is actually in the manga chapter right here, and Dende tells him in the anime, he's like, hey, you know about that really strong kid? And they just talk about it, but in the anime version, we did not see Uub. Toyotaro went ahead and not only showed us Goku looking down from the heavenly realm, from the lookout, to what appears to be Uub's village, and something very interesting is we don't just see Uub, a very young Uub, we also have a little kid that Uub is carrying, and that's interesting to me because of a couple reasons. Number one, this is our first look at Uub's family. We know he has a family. We know he has a mom and dad because Goku makes fun of him in the tournament when they actually do meet, you know, and brings up his mom and dad. We didn't know he had a little brother or a little cousin. I mean, I'm not sure which one it is. Could even be a little sister, but it looks like based on this that Uub has some kind of younger sibling. I think that's really interesting, and I'll be very honest with y'all. I think it actually may mean that, again, this is just me speculating. Please do not think that I'm, you know, saying this is confirmed. I am not saying this. I'm sure that I've said it before that you're going to get clickbait websites and YouTubers and people like that on social media who are going to claim it's confirmed. It does seem like they are teasing something for the future with Uub. You know, I've talked about in the past that Toyotaro confirmed. Those of you who are new to the channel, you may not know this. Toyotaro, the writer of the Dragon Ball Super manga, has confirmed that Super is not going to retcon the end of Z. What happened in the last 3 episodes of Dragon Ball Z that showed Uub and the last chapter of the manga, if you're a manga reader, that's not going to change. Toriyama will not be changing that, neither will Toyotaro, but it was almost hinted that the Super could go past that, which is what I really want to see. We know that Universe 7 survives, because if Universe 7 didn't survive, we wouldn't have the end of Z, and I really hope that the series, by introducing not just Uub, but maybe Uub's little brother right here, whoever this is, I think maybe might be hinting that we might get an arc with Uub in the future. Or not an Uub arc. That's not what I'm saying. It's not going to be about Uub, but I hope that they go past it. Like, I hope that Super, you know, when this arc is over, whenever they want to, it doesn't have to be right away, when they do get to the story that happened after Z, right? GT's pretty much been erased, so they can go anywhere they want to, and then from there kind of pick it up with Goku and Uub together on the, you know, together flying down to his village, and then see where the story goes from there. Or maybe even a time skip. I mean, there's lots of different possibilities, but I thought this was interesting, and I think it's something that is pretty cool, to be brutally honest with you. Over here, I wanted to also discuss one other thing. When Goku meets 17 in the manga, he talks about how what Toyotaro reveals is that while 17 was inside of Cell, when Cell had absorbed him and Cell had become perfect and was fighting Goku and Gohan, 17 could hear everything that was going on, and he explains to Goku that he heard, you know, 16's speech, which a lot of people are now saying that that's the reason why 17 even became a wildlife preserve, you know, animal lover, because of the influence and the motivation. You know, 16's speech really hit him. You know, and see, people have said that. Like, I've actually gotten Q&A questions from people and questions on Twitter. Hey, Geekdom, do you think that maybe 16 is the one who inspired 17? And my answer was, it's very possible. And it's really good. That is what I consider a good fan theory. We've seen a lot of cringy fan theories. That I consider a good, solid fan theory, okay? And I like that. I think it fits with the characters. I think it fits with the story. And even though 17 and 16 weren't like the best of friends, there was still that respect for each other. Not to mention that, don't forget that 17, when he was fighting Cell, 16 really stood up for him and protected him. You know, so there was that kind of, they had a little bit of a thing there, you know, as far as like brothers go. Now, the obvious question here, though, is, and this is one that I'm going to have a hard time explaining, and that is, because I don't really know what the answer is. Maybe when we get translation, I'll give you a full one, but the question is, you know, why didn't 18 remember anything? Because if you remember in the Cell Saga, if you haven't watched this stuff, I know some people who watch Dragon Ball Super who have never seen Dragon Ball and Dragon Ball Z. Some people watch, like, they play like the games and they never actually watched the series. Some folks only saw it in English. I'm going to say it again. You need to watch Dragon Ball and Dragon Ball Z if you've never seen it in Japanese at least once. Just trust me on this one. Put trust in me, because that's the real full version, or you should read the manga. The reason why I think you should watch the anime is just because the music and, you know, the voices, and some folks don't like it, but I mean, you'll get used to it. Not to mention the script. You know, you really get the full version there, and the filler as well, which is good. But, you know, some people have never seen it, and I think you need to watch it. But basically, Gohan is kicking Cell's ass, and then Cell pukes up 18, right? And she was knocked out. Like, she's knocked out cold. And then, you know, Krillin picks her up, and she starts to come to during the fight, but then she wakes up, you know, at the end, like after Cell was already dead. And I find it interesting that 17 was inside of Cell and was able to hear everything, and 18 presumably didn't. Now, it could be one of those things where maybe 17 was asleep like she was, but he was able to hear everything, or maybe he was awake inside of Cell. It's never really explained how the absorption works. You have to just take it as Dragon Ball's a cartoon. You cannot overthink this. Maybe Cell's body shrinks them into molecules or something. Maybe there's like an alternate dimension inside of Cell, like you know, that they're living in. You don't want to overthink this, because it will give you a headache. But pretty much 17 reveals that he overheard the entire thing, and thus he was able to kind of hear the events that happened in the series involving Goku. So I thought that was very interesting. I felt it was a very interesting revelation, and the fact that Toyotaro, I feel, is taking a risk here, not really a big risk, don't get me wrong, but I think him putting Uub in and doing things like this, I think, is a great Easter egg. You know, even though this manga chapter, from what I've seen, does not really have that much action, I am very interested in seeing what actually happens. You know, I'm interested in seeing how these things kind of play out, you know, and how in the manga, how he recruits these guys. Because the recruitment episodes in the anime, some of them were fun, some were kind of boring. Obviously, the one where Goku and 17 go fight those space poachers, that wasn't the best episode, I don't think. And but nothing, you know, I'm curious about how it goes. Like, nothing really would surprise me at this point. I don't think Totaro's going to be doing that, though. And, of course, like I said in my previous video, I do think that next month we're going to get, you know, the Frieza stuff. That's my opinion. I'll give you more information on that when I get the full manga chapter. But some people have already been writing articles like saying that this clears up a plot hole. This is not really a plot hole. 17 being inspired by 16, that's not a plot hole at all. But it is a good tidbit, you know, and it shows more of a connection, telling us that 16 is one of the guys that really helped inspire 17 to kind of become a good dude. You know, 17 could have just come back to life and been what he was in the future timeline, and he wasn't, you know, and I like that. I really do like that a lot. So let me know your thoughts on not just the appearance of Uub, which I think is a really cool Easter egg. Do you think we're going to see Uub involved in a storyline Super? They are not going to introduce Uub before the 10-year time skip. I need to make sure that people have this really clear. The first time that Goku actually meets Uub is at the end of Dragon Ball Z. In Dragon Ball Z episode 189, and at the final chapter of the manga. It is specified there several times. Nobody knows who Uub is except Goku. That's it. So Goku knows it's Uub, and he's the only one. Even Vegeta asked about him, right? And Uub has no idea who Goku is. So, but it's implied here that when Uub looks up, he can't sense Goku. Don't think that he can, but it's almost like he senses somebody watching him, which again, that's again the dude's a prodigy, you know. So do you think we'll see an Uub storyline? Do you think that I think they will go past the end of the season at some point? They can't just stay in the 10-year time skip. I want to see Uub involved with some of the new characters that Super's introduced. Anyways, thank you so much for checking out the video. Hope you all have a great day. And by the way, there's some more big news coming, so subscribe if you haven't. Very, very soon, either today or tomorrow, so stay tuned. And I'll talk to you then.